Well, Nora announces loudly, fuck that whole mission 3 times up the ass. I glance up at her with a raised eyebrow. What? Skyhope is finally in sight, which more or less marks the end of our half-successful mission. Claretta sleeps fitfully on Bentley's shoulder and Penelope once again walks on her own, though her hand isn't yet fully regenerated. I'm just saying, that mission was fucking awful. We nearly died like 20 times and then we had to trudge for 3 days without sleep, and, so fuck it 3 times up the ass. Yeah, I mean, I get that, I answer. I just don't understand why you're using that phrase to complain when it's something you'd probably ask someone to do to you. Nora physically staggers, making a wheezing noise like I just socked her in the gut. Did I just get verbally annihilated by Vita? She chokes. What? I ask again, looking around in confusion. Damn, Nora, I don't even think she did it on purpose, Orville comments. How does that feel? Watch his eyes, it doesn't end. She announces, starting to bellow out laughter. Mercy, mercy. She's got a point, Penelope chimes in. If you really hated the mission that much, Nora, you shouldn't be going out of your way to give it a good time. Stop. Nora begs, now laughing so hard she's barely able to breathe. Stop, I've already been killed. Penelope smirks and Bentley blushes. Song just glowers. I'm even more lost than I was before, torn between happiness that my team is happy and that creeping feeling that I'm somehow the butt of a joke I don't quite understand. Teenagers, Song hisses derisively. Stay focused, will you? The mission isn't over until we're back behind the walls. I don't sense anything remotely dangerous in my range, but I'm inclined to agree with them. It would be awfully embarrassing to die just outside our destination. It's happened before, even if not to us. My comment was just a thoughtless idea, the kind born from weeks of very, very little sleep. Everyone got pushed to their limits on this mission, and our escape from that soul-eating beast took a toll on everyone. Of course, as the scout, I didn't get to sleep much after the monster finally left us alone, either. I've barely gotten a couple hours of sleep a day, most of it during the day with light out and my teammates moving around and making noise. I'm running entirely on fumes and soul snacks at this point, and there's nothing I want more than to get back to the guild, grab Roscoe, and pass the fuck out for 3 days. We finally make it back inside Skyhope after getting scanned at the gate for Nora. There's a line today, but thankfully as hunters we get to skip it. The biomancer on duty is so fucking slow though. I can immediately tell there isn't a single person with a Nora, and I would have already dealt with it if there was. It's midday and the streets are bustling, though most people give us a wide berth considering that we all absolutely reek of rancid monster blood. I've probably collected more of that monster's insides on my armor than the damn thing actually has insides at any one given time. What is that creature, anyway? Another bioweapon? Or did something like that develop naturally on one of the other islands? From what I understand, that's entirely possible. Humanity is pretty much only alive because the worst monsters have no reason to prefer eating them over the prey in the deep forest. Once we make it back to the guild, the first stop is unfortunately not my bed, but the infirmary. It's a lot more full than the last time I was here, but we managed to find a bed on which to get Claretta situated and stable. Also new is the collection of blankets and dirty food plates that sit stuffed in a corner of the infirmary floor, in which a snoring young man rests. Penelope shakes her head with amusement, a rare grin blooming on her face as she walks over and presses a boot into his belly. Jeremy. She fake gasps. Have you made a nest in the infirmary? Hurrah. Who the fuck? Penelope? The young man starts to get up, Penelope immediately removing her foot and offering him her good hand instead. He takes it, his messy black hair and slightly gap-toothed grin giving him a boyish look. The guy's no slouch, though, possessing a decently sized soul that feels like a knot of tree roots thriving in damp soil. A woman fit to be queen, sent in my time of need. Jeremy announces, his voice half joyful and half dead-ass exhausted. Truly, the Watcher does care for us. Penelope finishes pulling him up, chuckling lightly. Don't flatter me too much, or I'll start to expect it. Have you left the infirmary at all since I departed? Pretty much no. It's been bad here. Almost everyone's been coming back injured if they come back at all. Then the branch leader officially got the Templars involved to help us, and now they're coming back injured too. Penelope scowls. Can't the Templars hire their own biomancers instead of mooching ours? Don't ask me, Jeremy shrugs. I just eat, sleep and heal. Don't have time to question stuff like that. I am so glad you're back, Penelope. Don't be too glad, Penelope mutters. I'll help where I can, but I have duties outside the Hunters Guild, you know. Who's this guy, Penelope? I ask. This is Jeremy, she answers. Jeremy, Vita. Didn't I tell you about him back before we left? I shrug. I dunno, I guess I kinda remember you talking about another biomancer. We brought back someone else that needs healing, but she's a healer herself, so maybe she can help when she wakes up. He grimaces. Normally I'd never ask a patient to work, but we're pretty damn desperate. Come on, Penelope, couldn't you have healed her on the way over? I did my best, she answers, raising her still regenerating hand. Each finger is barely past the first knuckle. Ooh, ouch, Jeremy winces. Right then, I guess. I'll get back to it. Fuck, what time is it? It's about 10 hours to Sky Canyon, Penelope answers. I'd take over for you, but I'm about to collapse as well. Well, alright, he relents, cracking his neck. Fuck it. I've been at this for weeks, another 10 hours isn't going to kill me. Good job surviving out there. Get some sleep. Gratefully, we move to follow his advice. I already have my armor half off by the time I get up to our room. I finish stripping it off, not giving a single shit how much the rest of me is also covered with muck and gore. I flop onto my bed, curl around my favorite stuffed crow, and pass blissfully into sleep. Waking up naturally, with no impending monster attack or other crisis to attend to, is a somewhat novel experience after the 2-week round trip where we rescued Gloretta. I'm fairly certain Nora and Penelope fell asleep in here with me, but both of them are gone when I wake up. How long have I been out? I continued to lay motionless for a while, cuddling Roscoe and enjoying the simple comfort of a warm bed. I still feel exhausted, but I should get up. I bet my family's worried. I sigh, pulling myself out of bed. My stomach starts yelling at me, demanding we go to the mess hall first and then see my family. I have to admit, that's a good idea. I grope around exhaustedly for my armor and spear, hands coming up empty for each. What? They're gone. I groan in annoyance. Penelope or Nora probably took my stuff to get cleaned. I don't actually have any other outfits, though, other than the uncomfortably fancy ones Penelope got me. Screw it. I'll head to the mess hall in my underthings. It's enough clothing to be technically decent. Speaking of Nora, she and the boys are also apparently in the mess hall, so I nab as much stew as I can carry and head their way, sitting down next to them. Oh, hey Vita. You're looking significantly less dressed than usual, Nora greets. Yeah, well, somebody took my armor, I grumble. Have you considered, I don't know, wearing something other than armor? Orville asks. I glower at him while I take a bite of stew, swallowing it immediately. No, I answer firmly. Vita is very diligent. Bentley observes. We took everyone's armor to get cleaned, Nora explains. It's not going to be ready for a few hours, probably. You're going to have to put something else on. I scowl, shoveling more food down my throat. I am not putting that dress on again, I insist. Okay, then just wear something else? If you keep wearing what you're wearing you're gonna flash side boob at somebody, Vita, which is a thing you actually kind of have, now, Nora says matter-of-factly. You're growing pretty fast, girl. You need to pay attention to that, or you'll be getting all kinds of attention that you don't want. I take another few bites. You wear this shit all the time, though, I point out. Vita, I like that kind of attention, Nora answers. You don't, right? I glance up at my team. Bentley just looks a bit concerned for me and a bit confused, but Orville is very pointedly looking in a different direction and blushing. I begin to feel a blush of my own start to work its way across my face. Oh, I murmur quietly. Vita, you are an oblivious little dork, and I love that about you, but you're growing up, so you gotta start paying attention to other people a bit more. Okay? She flashes me a wry grin as I nod awkwardly, focusing my attention a bit further into my teammates' souls. Yep, people are uncomfortable, and I probably could have figured that out before ever sitting down if I'd been paying attention. Yet I hadn't thought to give them more than a passing glance. You took my cloak away with my armor, I mumble. That's the only other thing I wear. My other clothes had so many holes in them that somebody threw them away when I put them in the laundry. Nora sighs. Of course. Orville, can you lend her an outfit or something? Why me? The mage grumbles. Because Bentley and I are like twice her height? Any shirt I gave her would be a dress. Okay, fine, Orville grumbles. Come on, Vita, we'll get you something. Wait, I insist. Let me get some more stew first. I don't care how incredibly embarrassed I am right now, I am not leaving without finishing my meal. I head back and refill my huge bowl, then return to chomp down on it as quickly as I can. Nora laughs. Watch his eyes, Vita, it's no wonder your tits are growing so fast. All that food has to be going somewhere. Nah, I grunt between bites. It's probably Penelope, and they're not that big, are they? I feel like they're definitely not. I don't even really have breasts yet, I just have little uncomfortable fat triangles poking out of my chest. They hurt and I hate them. I can't believe this is even a conversation we're having. I should have just stolen the cheapest thing I found in Penelope's dresser. Better to be ridiculed for wearing a dress than this. What about Penelope? Bentley asks. Oh, right, I begin. Yeah, Penelope admitted before we left that she's been using her biomancy voodoo on my body to do stuff like this. Messing with my growth, making me conventionally attractive, whatever that means. No one responds. The table is utterly silent. Which, of course, is fine by me. I tear into my stew, happy to no longer be obligated to talk. What the actual fuck? Orville suddenly blurts. Yeah, agreed. Nora stammers. I don't even know what to say to that. Did she ask you first? Nah, not at all, I admit. Isn't that illegal? Bentley whispers. Oh, it's super illegal, Orville insists. She could have her license revoked for that. She should have her license revoked for that. Do you think she's doing stuff like that to us? Bentley asks. I got the impression it's just me, I comment, taking another bite. You are really weirdly calm about this, Nora insists. I shrug, swallowing my stew. So what? Do you want me to be hysterical? We talked about it already. I yelled at her for not asking me first. She spouted a bunch of philosophical shit at me, and I made her promise to tell me this stuff beforehand. It's handled. Doesn't it creep you the fuck out that she did that at all? Orville asks. I shrug again. She had good points. She had good points? I sigh with irritation, picking the stew bowl up to my mouth and shoveling the rest of it in. I really don't want to talk about this. Vita, biomancers have to respect other people's bodies or they just end up inhuman, Orville insists. You should be concerned about this. It is kind of scary, Bentley mumbles. It's not right for Penelope to do that to you. I would just feel violated, you know? Nora agrees, mouth agape. I don't like the idea of someone going in and just turning my body into something else, something that might not be me. My body isn't me. I snap, thunking my bowl back down on the table. It's mine, and I don't like that she messed with it without asking me. But do I care what she does to it? No. Not really. My body sucks, guys. It's tiny, and it's weak, and it looks way too young and my face is all wrong and I just do not give a fuck about it beyond the fact that I have to live in it. Penelope knows her shit. She certainly knows way more than I do about how anybody should look or why. If she wants to go and fuck around with how many moles my skin has, fine. I get up, grab my bowl, and walk off to drop it with the dirty dishes. No one says anything. Can we go get me some more clothes now? I ask when I get back. Yeah, Orville agrees, standing up but refusing to look directly at me. Let's go, Vita, I think I have some stuff we can jury-rig to fit you. It's going to be a bit big, but you can tie it in place. Whatever, I grumble. Everything is too big for me. Not long after I have some pants and a tunic, although to my mounting irritation I continue to have no weapons. Whatever. I've lived my whole life on the streets without a spear, I'm sure I'll be fine one day back without it. With how fucked up and bloody my face still looks, I doubt anyone will give me too much shit. And if they do, well, I'm always hungry. Returning to the streets without armor on is both extremely familiar and extremely weird. I never noticed how comfortable I got with people fearing me. Fear is the right word for it, too. People in full expedition gear don't exactly frequent our part of town, and rarely do people wander around here as heavily armed as I do without being up to no good. Couple that with the fact that I'm less than 5 feet tall, and I'm like a glowing beacon that screams deadly talent here. People my size don't keep that kind of gear without being able to prove they can use it. Without gear, however, people my size just look like a free mark. Yes, it's entirely possible that any random schmuck can blow your head up with a talent, but the thought is if I had a talent like that, I wouldn't be here. A risk? Sure. But people are desperate enough in this part of town to take that gamble. My face may be an unwashed mess, but the clothes I borrowed from Orville are clean and devoid of holes. Not to mention I do actually have a bunch of money on me. If I'm stupid about where I go, I'm going to get attacked. Not that I plan on being stupid, of course. I descend into the bowels of my part of the city via a larger street, only ducking into alleyways when I'm sure no one is watching. Eventually I make my way to the bread stand I like, nodding to a surprised shopkeep. Hey, Dathus, I address him. Vita? Vita. It is you. Made it back alive, I see. The old man grins in proud defiance of his toothlessness, to which I grin back. He's a shriveled old fellow, and while his soul isn't at all powerful, it is certainly warm. Soft and green, smelling like grass in the sunlight. He's a kind soul, one I'm glad also happens to run the cheapest bread stall in the city. This and every time, I promise. Death would be inconvenient. He chuckles amicably, nodding and preparing my usual order without instruction. That it would. Not here with your boyfriend today, eh? I tilt my head, having to think about that one. Do you mean Orville? He's not my boyfriend. Of course. Dathus laughs. Well, I'm surprised to see you out of your armor for a change. Your new outfit is lovely. Thanks, I guess. It's Orville's. He stops baking for a moment, staring up at me. I stare back. An awkward silence passes between us as his soul pulses with amusement. Without a word, he soon returns to his work with a grin on his face that he's clearly trying and failing to repress. My face falls into a scowl. I don't get this apparent joke and I'm too tired to ask. I just wait in silence for the bread to finish, grabbing it all before I head to a nearby veggie vendor. You be careful hauling all that, Vita, Dathus calls after me. Don't get hurt now. I shrug, about the furthest thing from worried. If anything, he should be worried about anyone trying to mug me. I buy some tiny, slightly squishy and sad-looking vegetables before cutting away into an alley, heading home. I'll absolutely get mugged if anyone sees me unarmed with all this food, so I take a circuitous route there, avoiding human contact. Frankly, I probably would have done the same even if I had armor. I'm not exactly in a social mood today. After about an hour of meandering, my home finally hits the edge of my senses, the dozen hungry kids I call my siblings popping into the range of my soul sense. As do a half-dozen other people. I worm my senses deeper into one of my sisters, I think. The little black soul pulses, still growing its form and color like most children I sense. I focus, trying to get a read on her emotions. Concern. Fear. Resignation. Anger. Pain. Gritting my teeth, I pick up the pace, going from a meandering walk to a full-blown sprint towards home. Who the fuck dares to mess with my family? The 6 souls I don't recognize are all stronger than the kids, of course, but compared to me they're weaklings. Barely even snacks. Do these shit-stains seriously think they can get away with this? I hear the stupid bastards before I can see them. Come on, brats. You know the drill. Money. Where is it? We don't have any today. One of my brothers protests. And Mom or Dad will be back soon, so you'd better. A sharp smacking sound cuts off his voice as I round the corner, fury and death on my face as I watch the aftermath of Jared getting backhanded across the face. All but the youngest kids are out in front of the shack, as if to bar entry. Though the assailants have their back to me, they turn to face my direction as I run into view. Don't you fucking touch them again, I command. 5 of the 6 are men, or perhaps more accurately they're male. 2 of them are just boys, barely 13 or 14, though they loom just as aggressively over my family as the adults leading them. One of the younger one's eyes just about bulge out of his head when he spots me. Do I know him from somewhere? Oh, hey, free food. Thanks for fetching that for us, little miss, one of the pathetic degenerates sneers. Bring it right over here, will you? I certainly start to approach, but I have no intention of giving them a single crumb. Big sis. A little one cheers. She's the one I gave a piggyback to the other day, I think. Angeline. The girl has no visible wounds, but I can tell she's in significant pain. These bastards note her only bruise below the collarbone, to let the kids hide the evidence. They know to scare children enough to make them do just that, to hide from the people that should be helping them. Some of the kids look at me with fear, with guilt. As if getting their asses kicked, getting stolen from by these lowlifes, was their fault. Alright, hand it over, another one of the assholes orders. I walk right next to him, glaring upwards. You can fuck off or die, I promise. A shocked silence settles over the little nook that passes for our street. Even most of my own siblings are looking at me with surprise, nowhere near as happy as Angeline seems to be. They're scared for me. They think I've set myself up for a beating. They know vaguely that I'm a hunter, but they've never seen me fight. Most of them have never seen me mad, either. Stupid bitch, I said, hand it over. He raises a hand to slap me, but my tendrils are already wrapping around his soul. Terror crawls onto his face in an instant, my spiritual arms squirming and squeezing. Disgusting filth. I don't even want to touch him. Go on, I hiss, taking a step forward. I'm not going to give you a damn thing. So hit me. He backs away, towards his group. All eyes are on me now. I step after him, squeezing his soul harder. I've had a very, very bad month, I tell them. I was already in a fucking shit mood before walking in on this. So try it. Hit me. Steal from me. See what happens. That's her, the boy that was staring at me earlier whispers. She's Vita. She took my dad away. I glance at him again. Oh, that's right. I do know him. Grig's son. Wow, that feels like a lifetime ago. The kid's words seem to spur a bit more life into the confused thugs, all but the one I'm squeezing, quickly recovering their bravado. This is her? The woman of the group asks. This is the tramp that put you and your mom on the streets? Of course. Isn't this just typical? The group moves to surround me, my blood boiling. Is this my fault? I really want to kill them, but I know I shouldn't. I don't have a ton of non-lethal options, though. I might be able to out-fistfight them, but I doubt it, especially if any of them have a knife. Maybe I can spook them all with soul grabs? Yeah, that might work. It really seems to freak people out. I just need to get them all in range at once. Let them surround me, let them get close. Leave her alone. Angeline screams, running at the gang as they close in on me. The tiny girl pulls out a shiv, scraped together from wood, twine, and a broken coin. Sharp, chitin-tipped. Deadly if she hits just the right spot. A bunch of the other kids do the same, pulling out hidden weapons and approaching alongside her. I can't help but feel my spirits lift a little. The kids are proper street rats. They haven't been sitting here and taking it. They didn't hide their bruises out of fear, they hid them because they wanted to fuck these assholes up themselves. Still though, I don't want to see them get hurt. Guys, I'm fine. I insist. I got this. Back oh. Grig's son steps towards Angeline, smacking her in the side of the head with a kick that sends her sprawling to the dirt. Her neck twists at a terrible angle, a snapping sound ringing behind the dull thud of the impact. I watch in horror as her soul floats up from her body. All 6 of my family's assailants fall dead to the ground, their souls in my arms. Hide downstairs, I order the kids, dropping the food I'd brought. But, go, I snap, and they all scurry to obey. Except Angeline. I eat 4 of the bastard souls. They don't deserve anything better. 2 others I put shards in, raising them as my revenants. I make sure Grig's son is one of them. I want him to hurt. The whole family is rotten. Take these bodies to the sewers, I order. Don't let anyone see you. Hide them in an outflow channel by the walls, then walk in with them and kill yourselves. What? Grig's little monster whispers, confusion and horror warring on his face. You heard me, murderer, I snarl. Follow my orders or I'll send you home with worse ones. The terrified revenants hopped to the task, taking 2 bodies each. Carefully, delicately, I kneel down by Angeline's body, scooping up her soul and holding it safe. In a kind of desperate madness, I check her body, confirming what I already know. No pulse. No breathing. Dead. She's dead from a single kick. Killed by a child with a dangerous talent. It could happen to anybody. Grig's kid had inhuman strength, just like Daddy, and when I killed the man, I put his son on the street. The kid joined a gang. I found him roving around with adults despite being half their age. Of course he had a damn talent. His soul was so weak, but I should have known he would be fucking dangerous. They underestimated me and died for it. I underestimated them, and Angeline fucking died for it. My sister. She'd be mad at me if I left the food here. I collected off the ground, taking it inside and tossing it down the trapdoor to the other kids. Vita. One of them calls up. Fuck, but I can't even remember his name. Is Angeline? Sorry, I mumble back. Just stay here until Lynn and Rowan come home. Okay? It never should have come to this. I should have killed them all the moment I saw them. I lift Angeline up in my arms, holding her close. Still warm. Her knife drops from her tiny hand, so I reach down and grab that too. My sister's soul is inside me. Dead does not mean gone. I'll bring her back. None of these thoughts stop the tears. They well up from my face, dripping down on a dead girl's body. I find myself surprised that I care this much, then disgusted that such a thing would be a surprise. But it is, isn't it? I barely even knew her name,